Storytelling is a trait shared by all the human race. Many tales and fantasies shine a light on cultural norms and differences, or otherwise highlight what shaped a group of people. And still, there are norms and shapes that define the entirety of the human existence. They are fears and hopes that permeate all people. Storytelling brings the world together into one community. It's my enduring belief that every movie adheres to the exact same 29-point story structure, no matter which type of human pens the tale. Parasite is my Exhibit H. A tight focus on the core elements of the protagonist's personality, inner conflict, and situation. A destitute and desperate family hangs on by using what they can, working what they can, and always angling for the next needed come-up. Where, why, and how the protagonist exists in their world, with a focus on why they don't quite fit in. They are consistently pissed on by society, but they do have some friends littered around who genuinely want good things for them. A singular event that's never happened before and is destined to lead the protagonist away from their status quo. Ki-woo is offered a paying gig, one he's moderately qualified for. An examination of what's different in light of the something new, what's the same in spite of it in relation to the status quo. Min puts the job in terms that Ki-woo would understand. A grift, but hopefully an honest one. Ki-jung proves grifting is a family tradition. Ki-woo's view, in stark contrast to city life. The park home, in stark contrast to the family apartment. The discovery that things are less than ideal, or an exploration of how badly things are. Ki-woo performs for his employer with unconventional yet effective methods, and his false identity is revealed. We also meet Da-song, quite a character himself, which is the perfect inroad to introduce a new player in this oh-so-innocent grift, Ki-jung. The protagonist dedicates their effort to a specified goal, which is smaller in scope than the primary objective that dominates the third act. Brother and sister adopt their roles, while Ki-woo embraces some unexpected momentum. A brief checklist of the story elements needed for the second act. The storage basement, a watchful Moon Kwang, the illusion of the grift, and the ever-threatening unexpected. The singular event that launches the protagonist into the wild jungle of the second act, also called an oh shit moment. Ki-jung proves even more devious than her brother when it's her turn to bring in a family member. Oh shit. The protagonist must learn all new rules and expectations distinct to this adventure. The Kims sample a little bit of the good life, compared to their normal existence, I suppose. The Parks struggle with a naughty development about their driver, and Ki-jung improvises her way to Ki-tek's introduction. The protagonist showcases their ability to grow in the areas this adventure requires, typically through external means. Ki-tek is in place, and they piece together intel to shove Moon Kwang out of the picture as well. Characters face legitimate and understandable reasons to deviate from their stated convictions, agendas, or desires. Ki-tek isn't a gifted grifter like his children, and requires coaching to angle Chung-suk into the household staff. And Yeon-kyo faces the threat of unchecked TB in her home. An escalation of problems that vex the protagonist. Moon Kwang loses access to the house, to the basement. Ki-tek, the bad actor, dances in conversation with Dong-ik, then moves in for the kill. In regards to bringing Chung-suk into the grift, I mean. Spoilers. Ki-jung tackles another role, and Chung-suk slides into position. The protagonist evolves internally by utilizing everything they've gathered and learned. The Kims appear to be mastering their surroundings, but Da-song makes an astute observation that forces them all to acknowledge the truth of their farce. They still stink of poverty. Journey-weary characters reconcile the reality of their ongoing situation with who they were in the first act. the Kims are finally able to drop the act and relax, to savor the spoils of their confident scheme. A singular event that strikes at the protagonist's core conflict. Ki-woo's budding romance forces the Kims to view the Parks as more than just gullible targets, and the stark differences between the social classes is exposed. Characters find a safe harbor that also provides needed answers for both external and internal conflicts. Ki-jung angrily keeps the family's focus on the family, while Ki-woo takes account of everything they have now. The clarified objective is realized in part or in whole, though it's meaningless without the completion of the primary objective. The Kims discover that they're not the only parasites attached to the home. In existential conflict that wounds the protagonist's sense of self, worldly identity, or their journey. Moon Kwang and her husband fear for their lives from parasites that feed on the desperate, while Ki-tek connects the dots of their miserable life with his own failings. Moon Kwang records the evidence of the Kims' family grift. Ki-tek, the unlikely leader, tries to de-escalate the standoff, and it's just enough to actually de-escalate the standoff. An undeniable win for the protagonist, typically in direct connection to the rebirth. Upstairs, the Kims turn the tables and regain control, by any means necessary. When the Parks announce that they are nearby, the Kims jump into action, by any means necessary. A grand loss directly connected to the protagonist's newfound inability to quit the journey, sabotaging any chance of a peaceful transition of Parasite. Chung-suk knocks Moon Kwang the F out, and it's revealed that the song's underlying issues stems from the original parasites. A thematic freefall tied directly to the heavy price. Moon Kwang is seriously injured. The Kims try to evacuate, but are pinned in hiding, and they're forced to listen to all the judgments from the rich upon those struggling to live, namely the Kims themselves. A singular event that robs the protagonist of seemingly any chance of success. They expect to move on, like their own illusion about this grift hasn't been destroyed. From the mouths of the rich, they can't deny their true social standings. The protagonist cannot return to their starting persona, and must turn to face the primary objective. The Kims' family apartment isn't livable by most opinions, surely, and the situation continues to deteriorate in the secret room. Ki-woo begins to lose it, while Yeon-kyo plans a party. Fun! The protagonist moves toward the climax while utilizing the major swings and sneaky misdirections of the story. Ki-woo and Ki-jung fret about how to stay in character, while a sleep-deprived Chung-suk absorbs orders from her dopey, possible sister-in-law-to-be, and Ki-tek struggles against his humiliation and the disconnected tragedy of losing his home to the flood. Even in their new identities, they're still just the help. The final confrontation between the protagonist and the antagonistic force. Ki-tek begins to break. Ki-woo wants to save his family from the consequences of this whole damn debacle, but the consequences are here, and it's going to be brutal. The bloodlust is taken outside to the audience. Desperate to save his daughter, Ki-tek sees that his son is also on death's door. Chung-suk saves what's left of her family. The singular event where the protagonist finally confronts their place in the status quo. Ki-tek, after one final reminder of his stinky station in life, buries a blade in the status quo's chest. The direct aftermath of the climax, the cinematic denouement, if you will. Ki-woo and Chung-suk struggle to lead a normal life again, with Ki-jung dead and Ki-tek missing. But Ki-woo has a suspicion. The consequences of the climax in relation to other characters and the status quo. Ki-tek, having taken the parasite's place, transcribes a letter to his son, desperate for contact. All alone, he faces himself. A tight focus on the protagonist, contrasted from the opening. Kiwoo dreams of when he'll see his father again, and he waits. And there you have it, my 8th example to support my argument that all movies follow the exact same story structure, regardless of how the writer approaches their craft. Imbued within the unique and inspiring cinematography, Parasite is solidly built upon the 29-point story structure. But is this modern fairy tale a fraternal twin to a loose adaptation for one of the oldest road trip stories on Earth, Homer's Odyssey? Why yes, it most arguably is. Please subscribe to stay up to date with this and future videos, and please like and comment with your thoughts and reactions. I'll talk at you next time.